Well, well, well. Who do we who do we have here at Ohio Woodburner? None other than Matt Timmons of Timberwolf. Matt,
How you doing, Joe?
what are you doing here in Ohio?
Well, I was just on my way through, coming back from the Great Lakes Logging Expo up in Green Bay, and thought I'd just stop in and visit for a few minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, you are always welcome, and you're not the first that has stopped through here, but I think that is largely because we are just right off of Interstate 90 or Interstate 80, and it just makes it easy to pull in, huh?
I think it took me 20 minutes to get down here off I-90 this morning. So.
All right, you came all this way to take me out for breakfast. I appreciate that, Matt. So I see that you have a very interesting machine on the back of your truck. You want to maybe tell us about this, Matt?
So this is the PRO-MPXL. It's got the integrated conveyor, 38 horsepower Kohler engine, weighs about 7,000 pounds as it sits with the conveyor there. Real nice to tow down the highway. It can do 24-inch rounds. Pretty powerful machine for the money.
Wow. You are pulling this down the highway. I don't know, you probably can't go over maybe 45 mile an hour. Is that right?
Well, I hooked onto that last Tuesday in upstate New York, and I've done 3,000 miles. It's gone all the way to Duluth, Minnesota. 72, 75 miles an hour, tows like a dream.
Oh, wow. This is the PRO-MPXL. What is the maximum diameter that this would take?
2 feet, so 24 inches.
No kidding.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty big. What is the saw on it then, or how long is the saw bar?
The saw bar, it's a 30-inch saw bar. We can open this up right here, get a look at that. Sits in there, so it's got 25 exposed inches there, so you can, always cut all the way through.
Yeah, that's a big one there, man.
404 chain.
Okay. Now, what I always noticed about the Timberwolves is this, the
top roller.
The top roller. This is kind of unique with processors, right?
Yeah, I think we might be one of the only ones that runs that. So the top roll and the bottom roll, they work together. They're driven by hydraulic motors, and you can actually apply down pressure.
Okay.
So if you're having trouble feeding a log, it'll just suck it right through.
So if you do have a crooked log on here, this will push it down into the roller and get it.
Yeah, and they both work together.
They're both driven.
And then you also don't need to wait for your log dog to come down between cuts, so you gain a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
That's just floating. You don't even control it. It's all automatic, so it'll float up and down. You get out to where you need to cut, you cut. You're immediately advancing that log forward while it's splitting, and then you can have this machine here up to like a 15-inch piece. The saw, and the splitter are really matched hand in hand.
Okay. And I see a large outfeed on it. Is this standard with this, or are there different lengths that a person can get?
This is the optional integrated conveyor, we call it, and it's 11 feet long. It'll fill, back of a pickup truck or a small dump trailer. We also do standalone conveyors. You still have the hydraulics off the engine of the processor, and then you have up to a 32-foot long standalone conveyor.
Oh yeah, and I see you use the rubber belt. And when I was touring your factory, you had talked about the drums that are installed on these. You guys make them yourself, and you've kind of figured out a way to help them track.
Yeah, they're either tapered or conical, depending which way you want to look at. So the center is about 3/8 of an inch bigger diameter than the outsides, and that helps the belt stay tracked as it's going up and down, so you don't have to worry about constantly fiddling with the tension on them.
Yeah, okay. And you have a operator station which is close to the action. You got a lot of interesting looking valves here. Okay. What's going on here with the controls?
Well, this is the control station. We use one of our design philosophies is simple, kind of off the shelf, easy to fix, easy to replace components down the road. So these are just kind of standard Prince valves. You've got your saw and your wedge lift up here. Your log feeding is over here, so you're bringing the log forward in your live deck and your feed trough. And then you have, this is your top roll clamp control, so power up, power down, and float. And then you control your bar speed right here. And then auto cycle standard, so just your standard goes forward, hits the end of stroke, it'll pop up automatically. When it gets back, it'll pop up. So you can be cutting while it's splitting.
Yeah, okay. And I see you got a big oops button on it, huh?
Yeah, just in case, you know, bad things happen in firewood.
Sure.
So that'll just whack that and everything stops.
Okay. All right, moving on along here. We got, I guess this is for setup.
Yeah, you only use this, you know, either to set up the first time or if you got a big pile and need to move it back. This valve here controls your live deck up and down off that cylinder there. And then this valve here controls your conveyor cylinder to lift it up out of the way.
And we're moving farther on up here, Matt, and I see that there are 2 tanks by the operator station.
2 what now?
Tanks.
You're welcome.
What's going on? We got bar oil and what's this stuff?
That's your gas tank right there.
For the diesel? For the engine?
Yeah, this is a gasoline engine.
Oh, this is a gasoline engine?
Yeah,
it's
gasoline.
not a very big tank, though. I guess this is...
It's a 6-gallon tank. You know, you'll get somewhere in the realms of 4.5 hours of run time out of it.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Now, you had said this is a gas engine. So this is a Kohler?
Yep, fuel-injected Kohler. It's 1,000 cubic centimeters, 38 horsepower at 3,600 RPMs.
Okay.
You know, oil filter. You know, pretty nice engine. We've been using the fuel-injected version now for about a year. Moved away from the carbureted version. Better throttle response, quite substantially better fuel economy than the same horsepower with the carbureted.
Yeah.
So, pretty nice little engine there.
Okay. And you've had good luck with them?
Yeah, we've had no warranty claims on these at all so far.
Oh, wow.
So.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Matt, I'm very impressed. This is a beautiful... what color would you say that is there? It's a beautiful...
It's pretty red there.
It's a red. This is red, confirmed. A beautiful red Firewood processor.
Best color.
But I'm looking at a big infeed, or a log deck, right?
Yeah. So this is 6 feet, you know, from roller to roller when it's deployed. So if you put just a single layer of logs on there, you're going to get about a little more than a face cord on there, you know, 1/3 to 1/2 of a cord. You can stack it and get more. It's pretty heavy built, so you don't have to worry about, you know, overweighing it or anything like that.
Sure. I see these tanks here, Matt, but I don't see a hydraulic tank for the hydraulics. What's the deal with that?
Our hydraulic tank is built into the main beam of the machine. So from the hitch there all the way underneath the splitter, you got over 40 gallons of hydraulic fluid in there.
Okay, no kidding.
Yeah, we do that. Helps with cooling because you get a lot more surface area.
Yeah.
And then just makes the machine a little cleaner, easier to access.
Yeah, it is. This is a really nice looking machine here. So let's talk about the infeed. This is a pretty aggressive looking chain and roller here too.
Yeah, so we got a real heavy duty chain on there, and then this back roller, it's driven by the chain. And what that helps with longer logs, you know, 32 foot logs all day on this. You got a 16-foot deck, but this back roller supports the end of that log. Also, if you got a log that's feeding a little funny, you know, got a lot of crooks and stuff, you can come back off the back roller and it'll roll, and then when it comes back on, it'll be repositioned, and that helps you not have to leave the operator station.
All right, so this is really cool, but what do you think maybe you can unfurl this and let's see what it looks like set up?
Yeah.
Is that something you can do?
Show you how easy it is to deploy because it's real simple. So.
Okay, well, let's do it. what was impressive was how easy you called it being deployed.
Yeah,
Getting it into service. That was fast, and it looks like a machine you could pull up to a work site and you're up and running pretty quick.
If you got level ground, you know, less than 5 minutes. If you're unlevel, it does have 4 stabilizer jacks in all corners.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you got hillside you got to work with, you can deploy them, but as you can see, even with the conveyor, you don't need to.
Sure. Is this something that you could, well, you'd probably get your truck smashed eventually, but you could probably leave this still on the hitch while you're running it, couldn't you?
Yeah, if you're running short logs where you don't need anything past 16, you can leave it on the hitch. I know a lot of guys actually leave it hooked up to their yard tractor. And, you know, one nice thing, you can see that big cylinder we use on the live deck. So
yeah.
If you got your piles full, you want to move back, you don't even need to unload the live deck. That cylinder, you can just pop that live deck up 6 inches, float the legs, move it forward 10 feet, set it down. And
no kidding.
So you're not monkeying around trying to move around all day.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you said that the conveyor is an option.
Yeah, that is an option. It's about roughly $5,000 extra to add the conveyor.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, if you didn't choose this conveyor, you could go with a standalone, which would give you the flexibility. You could point it any direction you want, right?
Yeah, and we do 4 different lengths conveyor, 12, 16, 24, 32.
Well, you know, it just so happens that I have a conveyor here in the yard. Maybe we could go check it out. And
better be the right brand.
I think it is. Yeah, it's a Timberwolf. So let's head on down and let's check it out. And here we are, Matt. We are in front of the Timberwolf. This is a 16-footer right here. And you accidentally left this behind when you were here for the International Firewood Expo. Yeah. And I hope you didn't mind that I used it a few times.
No, I thought I lost it. I got home and I couldn't find the darn thing, so I'm glad it's here.
I'm the same way with my car keys. Yeah. Jeez, and here, when you own a world-class firewood processing company, I lost the conveyor today, but it'll turn up eventually, huh?
Yeah, and here it is. So
when I was touring your factory, I could tell you are very proud of your conveyors. This is, I mean, everything that you make is important, but this is kind of like a signature item for you. You're really good at conveyors.
That's the first thing I ever sold was a conveyor.
Yeah.
So I've been doing them for over a decade now, and you know, I think we're pretty good at them. We do 200 to 300 every year, so they're solid machines.
Yeah. So what makes a good conveyor, Matt?
Well, most important thing, you know, you don't want to be monkeying around with it constantly. So on that rough top belt or the paddle belt we have there with the tapered conical drive roller, top drive instead of bottom drive, that helps put the tension on the top side of the belt. That's where your load is instead of on the bottom side.
Okay.
And you know, nice big hopper, so you can actually load these things with a front end loader. A lot of guys do that. And then hydraulic lift cylinder, that makes it easy to deploy. You know, one of the nice things having a conveyor is, you know, you can move it around where you need it. You want to load up a pile of wood, real easy to move it around. 5 horsepower power pack, so it's, you know, with the Honda engine, it'll start up every time. You're not going to have to worry about the conveyor. It's just going to be there to help you out when you need. So
yeah, and I don't have any experience with conveyors, and I was using this when I was splitting with the axis. I was putting big chunks over there, and I was throwing the small ones here that was feeding into my truck. And that was the first time I really used one, and it was a very nice tool to have, especially when you're in your mid-50s and, you know, you're not as young as you used to be. If a tool exists, you use it, right?
I think it's good for your rotator cuffs, I think, would be on your shoulders. You know, you're not throwing wood in the truck anymore.
Yeah, you know, my rotator, it's been bothering me too, so I'm glad that you brought that up. Matt, if you ever want that conveyor back, I'll have you talk to my people and we'll get it organized, okay?
All right, well, I appreciate you keeping good care of it for me.
Yeah, so you are busy still with trade shows, and we have a big one coming up here in a couple weeks back in Ohio. Is that right?
I believe October 4th and 5th, Cambridge, Ohio, Paul Bunyan Days. That's probably the biggest one of them all.
Yeah, so you will be there, and if you are watching this video, make sure you stop by the Timberwolf booth and tell Matt hello. And what machines do you plan on taking there?
Well, we're going to have an MPXL, Pro HD, a couple of conveyors, the Alpha, the auto split, which we just reintroduced a few months back,
Yeah.
and some of our smaller TW2s and whatnot.
Oh, so you're going to have a lot.
Yeah, we'll bring 2 or 3 truckloads down there.
Okay, and we're going to wish that we get some dry weather, because I think you've had to deal with some rain this year, haven't you?
Yeah, the show's been kind of a bit of a washout most of the time this year. So.
Well, I do know of a show that did not rain this year, and as a matter of fact, it has never rained at the International Firewood Expo. Maybe I can get you to show up again for it.
Yeah, well, we were here, I think, right in this exact spot.
I think
last
you were.
May, and it was a hell of a good time, great weather. Met a lot of really good people out there, so we'll be back next year for sure.
Yeah, you were the first machine people saw when they pulled in off the road.
Yeah,
right?
we were right here, so we were front and center.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I was really excited to have you, and would love to have you back again next year. Time and date to be announced.
Glad to be here. So.
All right, so everyone, if you got any questions for Matt, if you want updated pricing, it's on your website.
Yes, sir.
We will put his website in the description, and check him out. All right, super cool guy, and I've been to the factory, and they are really impressive. It's nice to see, you know, I call it locally because you're just right up the road here in New York from us. He's in Cortland, New York, and I'm in Cortland, Ohio. Huh?
That's a strange coincidence right there, that's for sure.
Yep. All right, everyone, let's tell Matt thanks, and let's all say have a great
Yeah.
day.